Welcome to the Inspirational, Informational, and Transparent Aviation Careers podcast. Today, we have an inspirational story about persistence and a question from one of our Canadian listeners. Before we begin, a couple announcements. Don't forget we have that scholarships guide. There's over $120 million in scholarships in that guide, and you can get one for free by using Pay It Forward, that coupon. It's a free coupon. You can get it for free. It's 1 year access. We update it every month. And it's real simple. If you want to purchase it, it's $10. If you want to look into paying it forward, please consider becoming a patron of this podcast. It's real easy to go out there and help out, even if just $1 a month. So for every dollar we raise, we put it towards creating this podcast, but we also put $1 towards a Pay It Forward campaign. So what that does is enables people to get it for free using that coupon code Pay It Forward. And do me a favor too, if you're listening to this, watching on YouTube, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Give me a comment as to whether you like these shorter episodes. And I hope you're enjoying it also in the podcast. We're trying to do more of these because some of these illustrations actually can work out a little bit better on the YouTube channel. And one other thing too, I forgot to mention, someone had asked me, I was doing a coaching session the other day, they didn't realize we had that pilot interview course. If you go to aviationcareerspodcast.com, click on the pilot interview course in the top right corner, it's a picture there. It's a free course. We do one video every week. And it is very helpful for people that are looking into interviews, no matter what type of job you're looking at. Part 91, 121, 135. We haven't been putting too many out lately. We've had some very struggles in life. Obviously, with this COVID, it's been quite a struggle, and have had some recent deaths in the family, unfortunately, in my wife's family. So it's been a bit of a tough time here, but we're going to persevere, and that's what we're going to talk about here today. Anyway, if you do have any questions, feedback at aviationcareerspodcast.com. Let's move on with the show and this inspirational story. He writes to us and says, I became a CFI in 2019 and a CFII in 2020. For those that don't know, that's a flight instructor certificate in 2019 and a flight instructor certificate with instrument rating in 2020. So you're an instrument instructor, so that's really good. That's going to be great for your career. He continues, I wanted to let you know that I found your podcast about 4 years ago, around the time when I was considering a change from a high school math teacher to becoming a certified flight instructor. I only began flying in 2014, but one of the flight instructors I was working with suggested that I think about becoming a flight instructor. At the time, it seemed like an impossible goal. But as you say in your podcast, do something each day to move towards your aviation dreams. And that's just what I did. I retired from a 30-year-old high school career in May of 2020, and now I'm a flight instructor working mostly at a flying club. Your podcast has been a source of information and inspiration for me, and I wanted to thank you for your commitment to providing guidance and help to others in the field of aviation. Well, first of all, thanks so much for that inspirational story. That I really appreciate that. And please, if anybody has those, write us at feedback@aviationcareerspodcast.com. Also, for this person writing in and anybody else that writes in, if you want to be a guest on the show, check out how to be a guest in the right column. Click on that. It'll tell you how to schedule a time. I'd love to hear more about your story. And I think your story, you listening or watching right now, could help somebody else in their career. So I really would highly recommend you coming on and trying to and actually, bring forth your story and bring forth your successes. First of all, your second career, sometimes we call this the Encore Career. This is something that is very important, especially if you're still healthy and you want to pursue another career. Many people, like in the teaching field, in the professional fields, they don't want to finish with the field where they are now. Say they're retiring at 50, 60, 65. They want to continue on in something like a dream job, which aviation actually is their dream job. So that's what I call an encore career. For some of you, it's actually a career 2.0 or a change of career, that type of thing. So those are the two types of people that we normally help out here at Aviation Careers Podcast in our coaching. Is number one, I help a lot of folks that are looking for that encore career. They finished up a lifetime of a career and they want to move on to their second career. And those that are what I call job changers, career 2.0. It also could be an encore career, especially for those that have saved enough when they're younger and are able to move on to this second career that's out there. But yeah, if you have the energy, you have the health, consider an Encore Career in Aviation. You're never too old to become a pilot. You're never too old to have a career in aviation. Now, with that said, there's certain jobs that are limiting. Everybody talks about the airline pilot jobs, the Part 121 jobs. Those are limited by an age of 65. But even those jobs, you can continue on working for an airline as a flight instructor. You can continue on as a Part 91 pilot, meaning that you might be moving aircraft around. You might be taking delivery of aircraft. You can teach, not just in the simulator, but you can teach in a classroom setting. There's many ways that you can continue on flying. But for the most part, if you want to fly quite a bit, I would suggest you're going out and looking at a job as far as 135 or a corporate job, business aviation, private aviation, and other types of 135 jobs out there. We talk about 121 and 135, the scheduled airlines 121. There's also Part 135 scheduled, and those actually, a lot of times you see, are some of those regionals that have actually, they've put forth to actually feed some of the major airlines. And there's whole businesses that are actually fed around those regionals. One thing that's also happened in the past 20 years, 30 years, is there's a big blur between what's a regional pilot and what's a major airline pilot. You see, the regional pilots, the regional jets are flying the same routes as some of the larger airplanes. I never forget when I first got hired with an airline, someone saying, what's the difference between a DC-3 and what you're flying with 30 seats? It's not much difference, except for the fact they used to call the DC-3 pilot a major airline pilot and not a regional pilot. So that line keeps changing. The definitions keep changing quite often. One thing that I do want to talk about, though, how important it is, both persistence and perseverance. And, persistence, this is basically, it's a psychological trait. It basically enables you to have that type of temperament that makes you persevere in spite of the fatigue and frustration involved in life. Perseverance is just incredible. Something in this career and something in life in general. Perseverance is incredibly important. You'll beat most people through this. And that's actually, what is that perseverance? Basically you're trying to, you have an effort to achieve something and a goal. Despite difficulties, failure, or opposition, you keep going towards that goal. And that's what perseverance is. And that's really important to remember is that if you could make yourself persevere, and if you can look at the end goal and imagine where you'll be when you finish whatever it may be, then you'll actually make it easier on yourself as you're moving towards that goal. A lot of it's like working out at the gym. I look a little sweaty. I actually was at the gym recently, and one of the things that I noticed is, gosh, I really didn't want to go to the gym, but I thought about afterwards how I'll feel. And that's how we do it to ourselves psychologically. Just the same in this career field is that we can imagine ourselves flying a plane that we want to fly and having the lifestyle that we want to have. For this person, the lifestyle is in becoming a flight instructor. Hats off to you for doing that. If you're a teacher, I highly recommend, and you love teaching, I highly recommend you continuing on and becoming a flight instructor later on in life, in your Encore Career, in your Career 2.0. And that's something that we can talk about. Like I said, here we do that with our career coaching, which you can find out more about at aviationcareerspodcast.com/coaching. And remember this too, your perseverance is something that leads into my next thing that I'm going to talk about. This life, this career is a marathon. It's not a sprint. If it was a sprint, there'd be people getting in and out of the career all the time, which actually is happening a little bit now, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people saw that now they could sprint to the finish line, becoming an airline pilot. And that's why they decided to get into it, because they saw the big pay and the paychecks, et cetera, and said, hey, I'm going to become an airline pilot because it's easy. Well, it isn't anymore. It's not that easy. You now have to, it's going to take a little longer than it did a year ago. And so some of those people are dropping off. They're going into other career fields. I was a furlough rep for one of the airlines, and I saw this happen often. People going out and getting other jobs, giving up on the aviation field. I've heard this over and over the past 3 decades, the same thing. I thought I was going to have a 6-figure income just after a few years of flying, and then a recession happened. Recessions happen, especially in our type of an economy. They happen usually after about 10 years or so, and it's going to happen again to you, especially if you're new in this career. But the most important thing is to persevere through that. Persistence and perseverance is so important. And persistence is something you get in your head, and you say to yourself, I'm going to do this no matter what. I'm going to actually become an airline pilot. I'm going to become a corporate pilot. I'm going to become a flight instructor. I'm going to become a seaplane instructor. I'm going to become a pilot. I'm going to become a mechanic, no matter what, because I love doing this. The next thing that you have to do, and that's what we do in the coaching, is we try to figure out how to make money doing that and how to put a plan together to move from point A to point B. But most importantly is don't give up. Keep moving forward no matter what in your career. I'd love to have this person on to discuss his journey to becoming a pilot after being a flight instructor, after being a teacher. It's it's very symbiotic. It's an interesting field, teaching, and it's something that you have to realize you are as a flight instructor. You're truly a teacher. And again, if you're interested in becoming a guest, whether this person who wrote on or anybody else that writes in, please think about it. Go to that little course that I have that talks about becoming a guest on Aviation Careers podcast. Again, perseverance, persistence, some of the most important things that you can remember, especially in this time of COVID. I know things have changed dramatically. They changed dramatically for us in our business here. And that's the reason we ask people now, we started that Patreon account is, we're having a tough time keeping staff on because our coaching business, the other half of our coaching business, is actually interview prep. And most of our business is based on American, United, and Delta hiring, in a smaller part because there's not as many jobs, is on the corporate hiring and that type of thing, and some of the cargo carriers. And that's all dried up, most of that. I mean, we're down about 90%, just like the airlines are down. And that's something that I think what we're trying to do is keep moving forward. And that's what my commitment to you is. Hey, we've had to change direction. We've had to pivot, like most people say. And that's what we're doing here. We're moving towards more of the courses and helping people change careers, et cetera, until the airline interviews come back. You got to watch what you wish for, right? Because, when I was doing the interviews, I was working like 16-hour days. I'd be up all night and all day just doing interview preps. And now those are not so many of those right now, obviously. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the person that wrote in. Don't forget that this is the most important thing, is persistence and perseverance in your career, no matter what it is you do. Persistence and perseverance. Also, I had another question from a quick one from another person up in Canada. Said, hi, do you cater to many scholarships available to Canadians? We do. We have scholarships. There's not as many in our guide, but we're adding to them to our friends to the north. We're here in North America and we're the United States, and that's what we're trying to do is go out from the boundaries. Just because that's, as far as the economies of scale, that's how it works. We can move forward up into Canada. Yes, we do have some scholarships there, and we're getting more every day. So thanks so much for that. And if you're interested in a scholarship, say you want to get another rating, there's about $120 million of scholarships. So we keep adding them. It's only $10 for the scholarships guide. We update it every month. And you can get one for free by using the coupon code PAYITFORWARD. And thanks so much for those that actually have paid it forward, that are our Patreons, and we have set up that Patreon account so that you can help us out there. For just $1 a month, you could actually affect somebody's life by creating a scholarships guide. You've actually done that. And I appreciate what you've done and all those other folks out that have helped us with doing that. Anyway, folks, one of the most important things, though, is we talk about persistence. We talk about perseverance. It's this, is that if you're looking at this as a daunting task and you're looking at all the different ratings you need, your private, your instrument, commercial, multi-engine commercial, your multi-engine instructor, your ATP, all those things come with time. And to do that, it seems daunting at first, but remember, just like I said, it's a marathon. And the most important thing you can do is just do it one step at a time. Take one step today to move forward in your career, in your life, and be rest assured that you will make it to your goal and your Encore Career, your Career 2.0, or simply just your career goal. But please do take that one step today to move forward in your career. Well, folks, we'll talk to you next episode. Safe flying out there.